Hello and welcome back to the full English episode of A Clear and Obvious podcast, where we get a guest on each week and we discuss everything English football. And this week I'm joined by myself and Sam, or joining us even, is the one and only
Sherry Mohammed.
There we go.
Also known as Big Shez.
Also known as Big Shez.
Yeah.
They are sharing a mic today. As you probably saw from our Twitter post, we're having some technical issues at the minute. The selfish third years have got a practical in, so they're using a lot of the studio.
We're not happy about it.
We're not. We're raging. In fact, we're looking at them right now.
I mean, podcast comes first all the time.
Exactly. Podcast comes first. So if you hear some dodgy audio, we can only sincerely apologise. But we're going to go through with the usual structure of the full English podcast, and it will be, I'm sure, as thrilling as ever with one of the greatest guests we've ever had on.
Big Shez.
Big Shez indeed. Shall we first of all go through a little roundup of fixtures, roundup of what's happened in this post-winter break era that we're living in? What do we want to kick things off with?
Let's go. Let's start with Southampton Burnley in a fixture that was a bottom of the table clash, a very important game for both sides. And Burnley won this game 2-1. Burnley took the lead from a very strange circumstances. Westwood scoring directly from a corner after Danny Ings at the front post missed the ball completely.
He's not a natural defender, is he, Danny Ings?
No, he's not natural in that position. But then equaliser for Southampton from man of the moment Danny Ings, who was at fault for the first goal. So a bit of a redemption story there. But then Burnley took all 3 points, where a man who'd been forgotten about at the club, Mate Vizca, took it round, controlled the ball, took it round a player and rifled it into the roof of the net. And Burnley went home with all 3 points. Yeah,
and deservedly so from that Mate Vizca wonder strike, I'd say. It was a great goal, sort of slips as he hits it. But brilliant finish from both him and Danny Ings, actually. His goal was very well put away. As you say, sort of a bottom of the table clash. Burnley now move on to 11th. They're on the same points as Arsenal. Southampton still sit behind them on 12th. So in reality, it was a mid-table clash. But it was a decent game. Not an awful lot to say on that. Else, wouldn't you say? I'd imagine.
Yeah, no, not more to say on it really. Very important 3 points for Burnley, but I'd still confident in Southampton staying up. Yeah,
with Hassan Hutton at the helm, I'm sure they can. Next game was a game that I predicted a Norwich win, and I tell you what, it wasn't far off. Was it a Norwich draw? I think it might have been a draw. At Carrow Road, Liverpool won 1-0 thanks to a Sadio Mane strike. Came off the bench and scored, coming back from injury. And Norwich in this game, they looked good the whole game. They had a couple of okay chances. Pukki had a one-on-one they hit straight at the keeper. There was one, I can't remember who it was, tried to take around Arsene, but they had their fair share of chances. It wasn't like they were being peppered all game. And Liverpool didn't look like vintage Liverpool, really. I wouldn't say it wasn't a vintage Liverpool performance, but they got away with a win, and that's what a title-winning team does.
Yeah. No, Liverpool looked not a brilliant team, but didn't play that well in this game, but. Yeah, Norwich are doomed. Whether
it's a shame really because they play some. Oh God, I was gonna say good football.
Some semi-good football, and they have some good players like Buendia's decent, Pukki's not bad, and they've got some good players, good young players, Max Aarons and Ben Godfrey coming through, but not really Premier League standard, and they're more of a Championship club really.
Yeah, Sherry. Thoughts on Liverpool battering everyone at the minute? I mean, other than Norwich, and they beat them 1-0. I remember they lost midweek. But aside from that, as a Man United fan, what does it feel like to see Liverpool doing this well?
As much as I hate to say it, Liverpool, they're doing what title-winning teams do. They grind out results even when they're not playing properly or well, as they can be. Norwich, I feel like they'll be hard done by. They had plenty of chances to win the game, but obviously it's Liverpool, the best team in the world you're coming up against. So Well, you can't really do much against them, can you?
No, completely. Yeah, it was harsh on Norwich. It's harsh if they go down, really, because they're a decent team. They're going forwards, they look fairly all right when they got Pukki in the side. Emi Buendia's a good player. Campbell's fairly good. So they'll get picked off when they inevitably go down. But yeah, Liverpool, in typical Liverpool fashion, storming ahead to the title. Should we move on to Villa Spurs? A 2-3 home loss. I really overcomplicated that score.
Yeah,
3-2 away win for Spurs.
It was a interesting game. Spurs really not performing well. Tried to Jose trying to adopt a counter-attacking style of play to prepare for the Leipzig game in midweek, and almost saw them lose this game. In fact, Spurs went behind to Alderweireld own goal for Alderweireld to equalise to make it 1-1. Then I think Villa went in front.
No, it was Heung-min Son just after the break, 47th minute goal.
Oh yeah, so then Tottenham went 2-1 up before Villa equaliser, but then Heung-min Son came to the rescue despite having a broken arm.
It's incredible.
To steal all 3 points and get a good result, but not a brilliant performance.
Well, Villa looked great in the game. I mean, Grealish looked brilliant. As he has, rolling your eyes there at Villa. Grealish looking good. No, he looked brilliant all game, did Grealish. He had fans raving after the game, rightly so. But yeah, Spurs did come away with the win, and again, typical Mourinho fashion, really. You know, not playing pretty football, but getting it done somehow. Seems to be the way they're going at the minute. Next game was a game that I was at. Arsenal demolishing a hopeless Newcastle 4-0 at home. This game was brilliant. We sat just above the Newcastle fans, which was great. The game itself, first half was shocking. Newcastle looked fairly good. It's just a shame they got Joe Linton up top because he's terrible. They looked all right. They didn't have an awful lot going forward. They carved out a couple of decent chances. Sam Maximin had Bellerin on toast the entire game. Second half came around, and Aubameyang from a Nicolas Pepe cross headed one home. Very good header. Then Pepe turned from provider to goal scorer after a naughty little nutmeg from Bukayo Saka. Slid it back to Pepe, who put it in. And then that was pretty much the game. Well, I wouldn't say over. The game could have swung as Sam Maximin hit the post coming down the other end. That could have made it 2-1. But then the 90th and 95th minutes saw both Ozil and Lacazette score. Both badly needed goals for those two players individually. A convincing Arsenal win at the end of the day. They dominated large parts of the game, large parts of possession. Never looked massively threatened, certainly in the second half at least. It was good to see Ceballos back in the team. And Nketiah starting this game up top looked a little bit like rabbit in headlights, but he didn't look too bad. Carved out the odd opportunity, missed a bit of a sitter, it must be said. But he looks all right, looks like a decent option when Lacazette and Aubameyang aren't firing. Anything to add on that, really, from any of you guys?
Not really. Newcastle have done all right this season under Bruce, but they really were very disappointing against Arsenal, and I don't know whether this will start a decline, maybe, because Arsenal are a big team, but earlier on in the season they drew or lost narrowly to Arsenal, so looks like they've declined slightly since then.
Yeah, they've got Palace away next week, so a chance potentially for some Steve Bruce-based redemption. Shall we move on to the Monday night game? That was Chelsea-Man United. Sherry, our resident Manchester United fan, take us through that one.
Well, Manchester United, what can you say about them? Season full of up and downs, but the game against Chelsea saw Harry Maguire's first United goal. Came from a Bruno Fernandes cross, his first assist. And we can say this assist is more than Jesse Lingard has done for a whole year, is it?
Yeah, he still hasn't. Well, he scored against Tranmere, mind you, so he's found his level.
The first goal came from an Aaron Bissaka cross. He absolutely did Willian there to pieces. And Anthony Martial, header, bottom corner, it's just good goal, yeah.
Really good cross from Aaron Bissaka, to be fair. He did really well.
Although I feel like Aaron Bissaka can do more of that in another few of his games. I think it's his second assist this season.
Yeah.
United fans on Twitter, every time Aaron Wan-Bissaka does something good, we compare it to Trent Alexander-Arnold. I don't quite like the comparisons because Trent is a much better player, but I feel like if Aaron Wan-Bissaka can continue like this, he can become not as good, but he can be up there with the best.
Well, I mean, England have got, at the minute, an abundance of good young right-backs. They've obviously got Trent, they've obviously got Reece James as well as Wan-Bissaka. They've got quite a few of them knocking about. But you did well for that cross particularly, second goal. They scored.
Second goal,
Bruno
Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes. He has been playing well. First game, it was against Wolves. He played really well against that.
It didn't look amazing this game, I wouldn't say.
No, not amazing, but it's something new for the fans to rave about, is it?
Yeah. Something that's not Jesse Lingard, as we said.
No. Andreas Pereira, Jesse Lingard, what can you do?
Yeah, exactly. Harry Maguire scoring, despite the fact that he shouldn't have really been on the pitch, should he?
He should have been sent off.
Should have been. Oh, okay, I thought you were going to say should have been on the pitch. I was looking forward to this. That's a shame.
Who did he kick out at? Was it Batshuayi?
Batshuayi, yeah.
I mean, even if Batshuayi went off the pitch, it wouldn't have made a difference, would it?
That is true, but maybe Maguire going off the pitch might have made a little bit more of a difference. I can see why Chelsea fans are aggrieved by it. They also had 2 goals disallowed, rightfully, for VAR, it must be said. But yeah, as a whole, you've got the win in the end at Stamford Bridge.
I feel like we needed that victory, especially with the whole controversy surrounding the manager. So
yeah, no, a much needed win.
I'm happy for United fans.
Yeah, it would have been a much needed win for Chelsea as well, but obviously we didn't get it. So there we go. Shall we move on to the game that happened last night? Man City West Ham. This game was fairly lowly attended if you're judging by just your eyesight.
Man City, lowly attended.
I know, makes a lovely little change, doesn't it? City comfortable winners in this particular game. There's at one point in the game they had 80% possession. They were absolutely mullering West Ham. They peppered them. The first goal came through Rodri, I believe. Decent little finish from him. I quite like Rodri. He's not a bad player. Big bloke, decent player. And then the second goal came from Kevin De Bruyne, who turns from, again, provider to goal scorer just after the hour mark. And that really sort of put the game to bed. It saw Jared Bowen's first Premier League minutes. He came on for the last 10 minutes for Robert Snodgrass. West Ham, they were never really likely to win this game, and in the fashion that it happened, they were lucky it was only 2-0. I mean, City had 20 shots to comparison. West Ham had 3, and no shots on target. They also had 22% possession the whole game, West Ham. So it really was a vintage Man City performance, something I felt like they needed as well. They look pretty good, City as a whole. It was a game they certainly deserved to win. Aside from that, that moves them, keeps them in the Champions League hunt if they get their place in the Champions League next season, thanks to the ever overbearing FFP. But that's pretty much all there is to say on that game. Obviously a rescheduled game, but yeah, City got the job done in a vintage Guardiola performance.
See De Bruyne with man of the match performance. That's his 16th assist this season, and it's February.
Wow.
So that overtakes Eden Hazard's best ever season with 15 assists.
Wow.
And obviously, Hazard can't really do anything about that anymore since he's at Real Madrid.
That's true, yeah. He's a top assister in Europe, isn't he, De Bruyne?
Yeah, De Bruyne, yeah. What an amazing player
What a player. Wow, for a United fan to say that, I rate that. Yeah, no, he's class, he is. That's pretty much it all for the Premier League. Sam, do you want to take us through the main championship game that happened? What happened?
Yeah, so in the biggest championship game this weekend was West Brom against Forest. It's a big encounter at the towards the top of the league with both sides looking for automatic promotion, it must be said. And finished 2-2. Callum Robinson put West Brom ahead. He was played through 1-on-1 and just kind of put it past the keeper before a few. We love it. A few own goals. One for either side. Forest after a low cross conceded a Kyle. Scored a Kyle Bartley own goal. Well, they didn't really score it, did they? Kyle Bartley scored it for West Brom, but that made it level before a Tobias Figueroa own goal from Forest, which put West Brom back into the lead. I mean, did either side really want to win this game? I mean, keep scoring own goals. But
Sabotage.
Then in the 91st minute, Matty Cash fired home a brilliant strike into the top corner in the 91st minute, which is just mad. which was Forest's first shot on target to get a draw, which is very, very crucial to the league, which sees West Brom stay first, but Forest drop down a few places and further away from the automatic places. Yeah.
Yep, that's pretty much summing up that top of the table tussle, it must be said, as was used in the Calcio and Foosball edition of the pod. Okay, let's hop on from the roundup of the fixtures to our first section of the podcast. It is Twitter trending. The first one that we've got here for Twitter trending is Alan Hutton, the man, the myth, the Scotch Cafu. Sam, why is he trending on Twitter?
Alan Hutton is trending on Twitter because, unfortunately, the legend has retired. That's right. His
All wingers are
playing
rejoicing.
days, his playing days are over. The man who's I'd call him a cult hero.
Call him an icon.
Yeah, in English and Scottish football.
And Champions League football.
Exactly.
Played 13 times in the Champions League. How did Alan Hutton play 13 times in the Champions
He's
League?
played in the Europa League.
Unbelievable stuff.
He started his career at Rangers, where he played a lot of games for them before getting a big move to the Premier League and Tottenham. He spent time out on loan at Sunderland but then went back to Spurs for a few more years before joining Villa for around 4 million. Had a few loan spells at Villa. There are a few seasons where he struggled to get into the team. He was in and out a bit, but then it was quite surprising towards his Villa career. He ended up in the team more, but went on loan to Forest, Mallorca, which was quite a weird one. Ended up playing in La Liga, which is weird for a Scottish Alan Hutton. And his last loan was to Bolton, and then spent the rest of his career at Villa before being released in 28 at the end of the 2018-19 season, along with a few other players. But it's a big loss. The man who's capped 50 times for Scotland, and it's quite sad. Villa fans are gonna miss singing the Scottish Cafe on the terraces, I bet. And he wasn't a bad player.
He is possibly one of the worst players I've ever seen play football.
I don't think he was that bad.
I think he was terrible.
He when he got the ball, there's no stopping him. So some of his
The only
runs,
person that can stop him is Alan Hutton. Alan Hutton can only stop himself. He was... No, I don't want to badmouth him. But he was one of the worst players I've ever seen play football.
I don't think he was that bad.
If I was putting together a worst 11 of players that I've seen play football, Alan Hutton is in that team. Maybe on the bench, but he's probably starting. And I've seen some terrible play. I've seen Sebastian Squillaci play. I've seen some shockers, and he is up there with the worst.
I'd say that's harsh. That goal against he scored for Villa against Birmingham was just A, incredible, and B, has him written in Villa folklore for years to come.
Yeah, he's still terrible though. Anyway, that's pretty much all there is to say on Alan Hutton, isn't there? He's a Scottish Cafu. Great career, mate. Well done. Anyway, next on Twitter trending we have Marcus Rashford. What's been happening with Marcus Rashford, Sherry?
He is severely injured. He's got a stress fracture in his spine, which is obviously devastating.
Never ideal.
He's been United's best player this season. Probably,
I'd agree
definitely
with that.
the best player.
100%.
First signs of injury came, I'd say, in the Man City game where we won 2-1 in December. He was clutching his back. He was testing out his ankle, but obviously he carried on. And then his injury came in. I think it was... When was it? It was definitely in January. I think it was the start of January.
Yeah.
Where he clutched his spine or back.
Yeah.
And then he's just out.
Interesting if he clutched his spine. Just wraps his fingers around his spine.
I mean, it's Marcus Rashford. He can do whatever he wants.
He can do anything.
The first signs of injury, Solskjaer obviously knew about it, being his manager and all. And
Is he?
I mean, he tries to be his manager, but you never know with Ollie. He's at the wheel, but
he is.
The car's crashed.
Yeah, it's crashed, just like Rashford's season.
Oh, would you say crashed like his chances of going to the Euros?
I would say.
Do you see him recovering for that and going?
He is. No, I don't see him recovering. For
Really?
Euros, no.
That's
Just
a
like Harry Kane,
shame.
he is out as well.
When's he supposed to be back, Rashford? Is there any date on him being back or not?
Solskjaer said that it's going to be touch and go whether he's back before the end of the season. There's a possibility. I think it's very 50-50 at the moment. They're not sure. He could be, as well as the fact that there's a chance he might not be, and that could scupper his chance of getting in the England squad for the Euros.
Yeah, I hope he does.
the Euros!
Oh, that's your Zinchenko impression, isn't it? You love that. I'm so sorry to those people whose ears have burst from that. That was very loud, so I'm not going to lie.
Who do we see being the striker for England in the Euros then? Since Kane and Rashford are out.
I don't want it to be Kane.
Danny Ings.
Yeah, Danny Ings. I can go along with that. I can actually go along with Danny Ings. I don't want it to be Kane personally. I think I've aired these views on the podcast before. That our team, when we play Kane, is so built around him, it takes away from the creativity of Sterling and Sancho. If Rashford was healthy, I'd say 100% Rashford. In his current form, if he keeps this up for the rest of the season, I can't look past Danny Ings because the likelihood of us getting Vardy back from out of retirement is second to none. I mean, that's going to happen. So yeah, I'd go with Ings personally.
I think Southgate, if it's bad, might adopt a false nine approach with putting just a winger up front.
What, like a Sterling or a Sancho?
Yeah,
or something
I
like that?
could see
Yeah.
like maybe a Sterling or mate. I don't understand why he brings it, but Hudson-Odoi
Hudson-Odoi starting up top for England.
or someone like that. Southgate's weird. I don't.
I'm
not saying anything. He just does weird
It's
team
off
selections.
topic. Yeah.
If it is a false nine formation that he adopts, I'd say Sterling should play there.
Yeah.
He's played false nine for Man City a couple of times when Aguero or Jesus has been out. So and he's looked quite good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, that's true. I could see it happening, and then that would that could potentially free up a spot at left wing to bring in Jack Grealish, where he's been playing for Villa. That could work quite well. I mean, maybe won't happen, but I feel like as a testing it out in the games building up to the Euros, I could see that being the case. Should we move on from Rashford? Yep. Okay. Let's go on to Arsene Wenger.
Why has he been trending, Archie?
Well, he's been at the centre of quite a bit recently around City and their recent troubles in terms of financial fair play. Primarily because I'm trying to work out. So a lot of people are saying he works for UEFA, and some people are saying he works for FIFA. Who does he actually work for?
Whoever he wants to work for.
Right. Okay. Brilliant. Cool.
That solved that one.
You solved that one, mate. No, he started working at FIFA basically. It's because everyone's talking about him having a key part in this ban of Man City, but in the reality, if he's working for FIFA, he won't have a part to play in it because it's UEFA have handed out the ban. So
he doesn't have a part to play in it. He's just giving us an opinion on what should be done.
No, that is true. The quote that people are picking out is that people who don't obey the rules need to be punished.
Completely agree.
And yeah, I completely agree as well. If they have broken financial fair play rules, which by all accounts they have, then they do need to be punished. I think with the amount of lawyers that Man City have, I don't necessarily see them being punished quite as harshly. Just because there's that footage of them sort of all coming out of the court, and there's like hundreds of them. So I can see them maybe being banned from Champions League for one season. I'm quite enjoying all this talk about people saying that they're going to be demoted down to League Two, and watching Guardiola coach against Salford.
Which will never happen.
Oh, it'd be hilarious if he did.
Because Salford will be in League One.
Oh yeah, he's clever, this one. He's good. Nah, an away day trip at Grimsby for the likes of Aguero and Sterling. I can't imagine anything better, to be honest. The Etihad might be more full with a League Two away support. Yeah, that's true. Might improve the atmosphere.
Man City's still alive here. Dave the Builder. Aguero!
That's brilliant. The disrespect on League Two right there. Dave the Builder. We go along and see them all the time. They've got like Lloyd Isgrove. Oh no.
Aguero.
No, not Sam Hoskins. That involves Sam Hoskins being able to pass the ball. No, so basically back to Arsene Wenger. He's come out and he's condemned City quite heavily. And Arsenal fans have been saying some quite funny stuff on Twitter, rarely. But no, they have been. they're saying that Arsene Wenger's going to go through every team that are above Arsenal and get them banned from a Champions League so that we can get Champions League football. He'll go after Sheffield United next and claim that Chris Wilder does some bad stuff or something. I don't know. He'll go after and say something. Yeah. Why are you mouthing VAR at me, Sam?
Well, because he also had he wants to. Arsene Wenger also came out and said he wants to change the way VAR looked at offsides, didn't he, Archie?
Yes, he did. He did. He came out and said that it should be clear and obvious, didn't he? Like a clear and obvious podcast.
No.
Cool. Brilliant.
No, he came out and he came out and said that he wants the offsides to be clearer because at the moment there's a.
Isn't that just what he said? No, different.
Yeah, but
different.
It's different. It's a different way of saying it. But he
It's
wants
the exact same word.
Okay, shut up.
You asked me. All right, okay, crack on, mate. Crack on.
Sam's on a mad one.
He's an absolute madness.
He wants offside to be when a player's a body part that he can score with is offside instead of any body part, and that's for a defender and attacker.
I was always under the impression that was still always the rule for offside, that you could only be offside with the part of your body that you can score with.
Yeah, but I think it's the same for. I'm quite confused by it, not gonna lie.
Oh, really? Oh, so you've been mocking me for not necessarily knowing 100% what he means, and now you're admitting yourself that you don't know.
I'm unsure on the rules at the moment, because at the moment VAR's quite. It's very
convoluted.
Yeah, it's very. There's so many grey areas.
There is indeed. More than this studio, actually. It's quite a grey studio, isn't it? Anyway, sorry, completely moving on. Completely irrelevant. That's all the Arsene Wenger talk we have for the minute. I've got all the time in the world for that man. But Sam, who have you put onto Twitter trending? We got two more. Who are you going with?
Got good talk about Justin Fashanu, who today has been finally inducted into the Hall of Fame. Today, of course, Justin Fashanu was a former black footballer who came out as gay in the 1980s. It was such a shock at the time where being gay was such a I don't know, and people didn't think well of it. Oh, I don't know how to describe it. Archie, help?
Yep, sure. I'll hop straight back on. Sorry, I just wanted to get a water because my throat's really dry. No, it was in a period where gay people weren't necessarily accepted as completely coming out at the time. It was 22 years ago. Was it 22 years ago? How many years ago was it? Sorry, you said?
22 years ago, yeah.
22 years ago. So yeah, it was in a period where gay marriage hadn't been legalised yet in the country. So coming out as gay was a bit of a rarity, and it's still a rarity now in modern football. So while he certainly pioneered it, there's not exactly been a whole swathe of Premier League players all coming out as gay. But he started. He was at a period where it was less accepted.
He's the only professional footballer to come out as gay.
Yeah.
To this day, still, which is crazy, and especially to do it at a time where it was so heavily criticised, and he committed suicide a few years later. He really deserves to be recognised, and I completely back the fact that he's been put into the Football Hall of Fame.
Yep. Yeah. No. Massive step forward. Really good. Really good that he's finally been inducted. Shall we move on to someone else, or someone who's been involved in some recent controversy but has come out of it but better for it, I'd say, on the other side? Who are you going with?
Bobby Madley has, after the controversy concerning him and a post which was potentially, how would you describe it?
Wasn't it homophobic?
Yeah, I think it was.
I'll double check that before I accuse Bobby Madley unnecessarily of being a homophobe, but I'm pretty sure it's homophobic. I'll check that.
Following a tweet which was controversial. Not a tweet, a post which was controversial, which wasn't a public tweet. He sent it to someone else, but nevertheless, it was wrong.
Apologies. So, Bobby Madley, you're not a homophobe. He filmed a video appearing to mock a disabled person.
Nothing like a homophobe.
No, it wasn't. All right, okay. I don't actually think Bobby Madley is a homophobe. All right, but a lot of people not a lot of people, but when these controversies come out, it's quite regular to do homophobia. We were already on the topic of homosexuality. It was in my head. There we go.
Oh yeah, so Bobby Madley, after that controversy, got banned from refereeing in England. So he took his referee out to Norway, where he spent this season reffing there. He's found it very while he's enjoyed the refereeing, he's had personal matters with his wife, and I think they've really not really
liked Norway.
No, that it's nothing. It's nothing in Norway. I think it's more to do with personal matters and being far away from like family and friends and stuff. But yeah, the referees in England have decided that they're allowing Bobby Madley back.
It's good. I'd certainly say it's a good thing, because what he did wasn't necessarily the worst, but it certainly needs to go punished. I'm looking at it now. It was something that he said to a friend, and he mocked a disabled person before his daughter's sports day, and said that they had a chance of winning the parents' race this year, because there was a disabled person he was going up against. Which is a little bit out of order. But yeah, no, he's come back better for it. He's apologised ever since. He's said how much it's affected his mental health, and I really respect him for that, because everyone makes mistakes, and he deserves to get another chance.
Exactly. He's been accepted the opportunity to start next season as a national list referee. This group of referees officiate League One and League Two, and despite the fact that it's not the Premier League, it's not where he was refereeing before, you got to start back somewhere, and it's going to help him rebuild his reputation, hopefully. And there's a lot has changed since he was last ref. For example, VAR is the main one, so he's got to do a lot of workshops and reintegrate into the English way of refereeing as well. This season, for the remainder of this season, he's also going to be refereeing in England, but he's going to start in like non-league just to get used to refereeing in this country.
Yeah. Shall we move on to everyone's favourite section?
The state of
this. Who's first up on our state of this? Sherry.
We have the newly signed striker for Barcelona, Martin Braithwaite.
Controversially so.
Very controversial, actually.
Yeah, massively. Now the fact that so basically Barcelona, in case you haven't seen it, you probably have, but the fact that Barcelona have been given this extension to do an emergency, I say this in inverted commas, signing, like it's some sort of operation. I mean, it's the facts that Barcelona of all teams are able to do this, sign one of the lower teams of La Liga's better strikers, their top scorer, as you said earlier. You got a stat to bring up, I'm sure. At ex-Middlesbrough, obviously, to sign him from Leganés after the transfer window shut because Ousmane Dembele has got injured makes no sense, does it, Sam?
It is honestly disgraceful. Like, it's disgusting. Like, why does Barcelona have the right to sign a player just because they haven't prepared their squad in the transfer window for the eventuality that players could get injured? Like, honestly, if any other team in the world did it, they wouldn't be allowed to.
Well,
but as the Spanish FA are so like corrupt and just biased towards the big teams, he can't even play in the Champions League. He can only play in the league.
No one wants to see Martin Braithwaite in the Champions League.
I just don't understand why they've been allowed to do this, and they've stolen off one of the teams really fighting for relegation. They've stolen their top scorer. Their top scorer now has 5 goals. Their second top scorer now has 1. So all their goals
really
have
screwed
gone
them over massively. The fact they're able to sign him makes no sense. I mean, the only reason they've obviously been allowed to do it is because it's that big club privilege that they get, and especially in the Spanish league, they're given that. But also, not all clubs, very few clubs, in fact, have the academy structure that Barcelona do right down to the youth system. So they've got a whole crop of players that they could pick from if this eventuality came around. They've got is it La Masa Academy? Is that what it's called? Huge academy that they've got, and they could pick any of those youngsters out of there and put them into the lineup, and they will have replacements. But that's besides the point. The fact that they're given this extra time it shows the Spanish league for what it is.
No, yeah, totally. And Leganes, following this, have actually applied to request a emergency transfer in order to replace him, and La Liga have turned it down. The bias towards the big clubs is absolutely
They're
ridiculous.
not even hiding it. It's so obvious.
If anything, I think there might be just I don't really know. I'm really angry.
Yeah.
It's just why are they allowing them to do this? Like you said, they've got so many youth players that can come in. It's their poor planning. It's their fault.
La Liga are bailing them out massively by allowing them to do this.
And if you're wondering why this relates to English football, it's Martin Braithwaite played for Middlesbrough, which is the only link that we've got.
I feel like Barcelona don't even need Martin Braithwaite. Obviously, as Archie said, they've got this amazing academy in place. They've got Ansu Fati, the winger, who's been playing very well for Barcelona this season. They've got Suarez. Suarez is injured for 4 months.
Yeah.
so
they've
really.
not got Suarez.
So no Suarez.
They have Griezmann.
Yeah.
And they have Messi for crying out loud.
Yeah, it's not as if they're a struggling Bury. It's not like they're a club that's about to go out of existence if they can't sign Martin Braithwaite. I mean, for crying out loud, I don't get it at all.
I feel like Braithwaite wouldn't really make a difference for Barcelona, whereas he would make a huge difference for Leganes.
Yeah. No, it's disgraceful.
I like the fact that when Mourinho was asked, because Spurs are obviously having a little injury crisis, whether they were going to bring in an emergency transfer, he was like, I didn't even know that was a possibility, and then joked that he was going to bring in Peter Crouch.
That was brilliant. Crouchy replied to it as well. He was like, I'm ready when you are, Jose.
That would be it. Oh, we want it. Jose, make it happen, please.
That'd be amazing.
I mean, at least they're not stealing off a club, because this guy's all just retired.
Yeah.
But then if you're bringing him out of retirement, I think that's fair game.
Yeah, seems fair game to me. Shall we move on to what is possibly my favourite thing to have happened on TalkSport?
We have got the clash of the titans.
You really do.
Agent versus owner. The man who hates agents and one of the biggest agents in the world. Of course, we're talking about Jordan versus Raiola.
You make it sound like Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. This argument was brilliant.
This was a better fight.
For the record, I love Simon Jordan. He's amazing. I wanted to get this out of the way now. Reading his autobiography, little flex. He's brilliant. He's honestly, he makes so much sense. A lot of the stuff he says on TalkSport is brilliant. But this particular argument, they got Mino Raiola on for a live call, and in his autobiography, Jordan talks a lot about how he hates agents as a whole. He talks about the whole concept of them in their players in their contracts getting from agents like agent fees and goal fees and appearance fees, and he's like, well, isn't that the whole reason I'm paying a player, for him to score goals and appearances? Like, you wouldn't get given, so say you don't get an extra money for turning up to work, you get the money that you're given. And he dislikes agents a lot because they profitize off of their players massively. And in this argument, he brings that up. He brings up to Raiola that so Raiola tries to claim that he doesn't move players, and so I'm like, of course you do. That's your job. He goes on to say that they should be regulated properly, and it was a really good debate. I thought. I mean, it was interesting.
I completely agree with them in the fact that agents definitely need to be relegated. No,
relegated. Wow.
Relegated. Get them down to the championship.
Down you go, Mino.
No, they should be regulated. The money they earn from transfers is a joke. Some of them earn an absolutely incredible amount.
20 million he got from the Pogba transfer?
Exactly. And that's
unbelievable.
Ridiculous. And bear in mind, some people's agents are their parents. There's money in the family anyway just from that guy's wages. Never mind you getting more.
Well, Barcelona paid Neymar's parents when they signed him. 30 million pounds.
Exactly. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it's just there's too much money going to these agents. And another point that Raiola made a point as a saying, next you'll be thinking that transfers need to be relegated, and Simon Jordan was like, they should be regulated. What do you think about that?
Yeah, they should. I mean, there should be a regulation on football finances as a whole. because it will get to a point where it's spiraling out of control. But on the agent side of things, it's they profit so much off of player transfers that Mino Raiola trying to claim that he doesn't move players when he's basically forcing Paul Pogba not to play for them, and he's doing. I mean, you must be livid with Mino Raiola. I mean, he's stopping. He's got such a huge influence over football that he's going to be stopping so many top players coming to United. I mean, they wouldn't want him anyway, but it's the point remains. You know, it's
Mino Raiola. He's a leech, isn't he?
He is a leech.
Always wants all the money. You could say that. No, you can't say he wants the best for his player, does he?
He doesn't. That's the thing. I don't think he does. He's definitely in it for himself, as most agents are. And Raiola's a perfect example of an agent getting way too much power and influence in football and not being regulated properly.
I think the biggest player being owned by Raiola is Jesse Lingard, who's now being represented by Raiola. I mean,
and has since bought out Fragrance, so he's doing wonders. Mino.
Exactly. I mean, if anyone's going to get him a deal, Raiola will. Next year, Barcelona will come in for one of the hottest prospects in football, Jesse Lingard.
I'm telling you, if Raiola can help Jesse Lingard secure a move, I would take back my leech comments and say he's a very respectable man.
There we go. We got you on record now, Sherry, calling him a leech. This argument as a whole is brilliant. I think Simon Jordan's come across really well, and his whole time on TalkSport, let alone this particular argument. It was really interesting to listen to. Any more to say on that front, or shall we move on to Wonder Kid Watch?
Let's move on to Wonder Kid Watch and
Watch.
Start with Sherry. Who are you going to talk about today?
Swing it over to the guest first.
I'm talking about
literally swing over
the obviously not very well known or at all to you guys, Ethan Laird.
Ooh.
Educate us.
He is a Manchester United under 18 player. He plays in defence.
Sam's getting up, making a nice disruption.
He plays right back, left back, and centre back. He can also play wing back. In the under 18s, he scored, I think this season or last season, he's done 11 assists and scored 2 goals.
Wow.
He made his debut, his first team debut against FC Astana for United.
Oh, was that the one that you lost away?
2-1.
Okay,
we lost 2-1. But
yeah, you did play like your under 15s, to be fair.
Yeah.
So
right. Jesse Lingard played, so obviously.
Under 15s, yeah, exactly.
That obviously original
Quality,
joke.
He scored though.
Jesse Lingard did score, but we don't speak about him.
No, we don't.
Ethan Laird, I'd say he's one for the future, definitely. I'd say if he can carry on the way he is going right now, he can surpass Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I'd say.
Ooh.
Aaron Wan-Bissaka is more defensive, I'd say.
Yeah, he's very good.
But Ethan Laird, I don't want to compare him to Trent, but he's got that sort of calibre to him. He's pacey.
Yeah, that's fair enough. What similar qualities?
Yeah. He can pass the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd hope.
Helps.
I'd hope he can pass the ball.
And hopefully he's better defensively than Brandon Williams. I know you're not going to like that comment.
He is.
Do you like Brandon Williams?
I do like him, but people saying he's one of the best young left backs, I'd say no.
A little bit far. Yeah.
No. I mean, he's fast.
That's about it, folks.
There's this comparison between Brandon Williams and Saka a few days ago. People saying Brandon Williams better, I'd say no.
Yes.
Saka.
Yes, Sherry. Oh, thank you so much.
Although Saka isn't, I'd say, brilliant defensively, he makes up for his attacking output.
No, completely.
And moving on from Saka. No.
Sam, you've just stolen the mic away from Sherry as he's talking about Ethan Laird to go and moving on from Saka. You've had a mare. You've got up and got your water bottle, and you've just not come back in at the right time. What else do you want to say, Ethan Laird, or is that?
If Ethan Laird isn't playing as a fullback or a wing back in the first team, I'd like to see him in defence. I don't really like the slabhead Maguire too much.
He's called him a slabhead.
The Minecraft Phil Jones.
Minecraft Phil Jones. Oh, that's perfect.
So, I mean, Maguire, 80 million?
Yeah, it's a little bit much, isn't it?
85. I mean, I know I've digressed a bit because,
no
United, it grinds my gears sometimes.
It does. We do need to get you on a podcast and just get you ranting about Man United. But it won't be very PG, but we should do it.
No, I'll try to be PG.
No, that's good. Yeah, no Ole Gunnar Solskjaer comments here, please. Right, Sam, you're buzzing to steal that mic, aren't you?
Over to Sam.
Go on, steal it, Sam. What are you gonna say?
Oh, I was just going to say...
Bless us.
Moving on to Archie.
Oh my days. Okay. Yep. Okay. Moving on to me then, because Sam's bottled it. He's pulled the mic over and he's not said a word. I'm going to talk about the man that you briefly brought up, Bukayo Saka. As I say, I was at the Arsenal Newcastle game where he absolutely ruined Valentino Lazzaro's career in England, despite playing his second game with a saucy little nutmeg. But as a whole, I like him a lot. I liked him more when he played on the wing for Arsenal. I think he looked very good in the Europa League. He created loads of chances. He looked really bright and buzzing on the ball. And I just like the creativity he brings. He brings another facet to our attack. And I think he's wasted at left back. Because defensively, as much as people say he's not very good, he's not, sure. But he has his moments where he looks very decent defensively and he looks more than competent. But my only slight bugbear about him is that we are going to do what we did to him that we did to Maitland-Niles, where he was a really good central midfielder, and we move him force him into a full-back position, and suddenly he gets a lot worse. But right now he's been playing really well. He's only, I believe, he's just 18 years old? Yeah, 18. 18, come from another product of the Youth Academy. He got all 9s at his GCSEs. He got 11 GCSEs, all 9s. He's a smart cookie, this one. We're currently in contract negotiations, and I really hope we keep him because he's very good. Sam, who do you want to talk about?
I would like to talk about the man that's in the press a lot at the moment, Jude Bellingham. The Birmingham midfielder has really shone this season and been one of the most talked about players in maybe even the world. As a young player, he's a 16-year-old central midfielder. He's kind of like a box-to-box midfielder. He's a great passer of the ball. His defensive mindset is really useful for a side like Birmingham, who aren't one of the top sides in the league. So the fact that he can attack and defend is very useful for them, and the fact that he's come out of their academy that's produced other players like Butland, come through Birmingham. Redmond's come through Birmingham. Two very good players. Well, Butland was England keeper. We won't talk about how good he is now, but at one point he was a top player, and he's got. Bear in mind he's 16. He's got a lot of game time this season. He's played 32 games, got 4 goals and 3 assists in all competitions, which isn't too bad actually. He's also been played for England at youth level. He's played for the under 15s, under 16s, and under 17s, which is quite crazy for his age. And I could honestly see him getting caps for the under 21 soon. I reckon he could make that step up. He's been very good, and just yesterday, in fact, Chelsea were being linked with a 50 million bid for him, which is really showing how much promise he has.
Yeah, he's certainly well sought after. Sorry, Sam. Me and Sherry were just reacting to the United lineup, which when this is out, United would have probably finished their game. The fact that they're starting Pereira and Matic in centre mid, with Lingard and Mata just in behind Martial. Brandon Williams starting left wing back, Dallo right wing back. Yeah, interesting, that team. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about because that team's shocking. But shall we quickly move on to some predictions? Because we might get kicked out of the studio soon, but we'll try not to.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's get on to some predictions. Right. We kick it off. We've got 3 Premier League games we've selected and 3 Football League games we've predicted as per usual. We shall kick things off with what is a pretty tasty game. Mourinho going back to his old club. We've got Chelsea host Tottenham Hotspurs. We'll start with the guest as we normally do, Sam. So can you please swing the mic back to him?
I feel like Chelsea have a point to prove after that loss against United. But Spurs, they're without Harry Kane. They're without Heung-min Son. I think it'll be a cagey game, obviously, with Chelsea and Spurs, as history has suggested. Very cagey, usually. But I'd give it to Spurs. Maybe a 1-0 victory, I'd say.
Yeah, no, that seems fair. Coming off of a midweek loss, Tottenham will be looking to bounce back. I can see this being a draw. In fact, Tottenham have won just 1 of their last 33 away games against Chelsea in all competitions, which isn't a great record if you're a Spurs fan. Chelsea have also won their last 2 Premier League games against Spurs, last winning 3 in a row in March 2006 when they were managed by Jose Mourinho. But I see this being a draw, 1-1 potentially. I see Chelsea going in front and Spurs pegging them back a little bit. Sam, what are you going with?
Well, this is Tottenham's. This potentially could be Tottenham's 500th away win which is
in all comps.
In the Premier League, which is quite a big deal. They'd be behind Liverpool, Arsenal, United, Everton, Villa, and Chelsea in doing so. And this could be a very tight game. I see Chelsea on form. Spurs, despite grinding results, haven't been playing well. And honestly, despite midweek not getting the result they wanted, I could see Spurs winning this 2-1.
There we go. Okay. Battle of the London Titans there. Should we go on to Leicester versus Manchester City? We'll swing it back round to Big Shez from Daventry. What do you want to say?
I'd like to see Leicester win it because, Man City, I'm a United fan.
Naturally.
Man City, obviously, not high in my rankings.
Yeah.
But realistically, I'd say Man City would win. De Bruyne looked absolutely amazing against West Ham. Aguero, obviously, best striker, I'd say, in the Prem.
Yeah, I can go along with that. Yeah.
But Leicester are a dangerous team. They've got James Maddison, who has been playing very well. Last season, I think he was one of the top assist makers.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he was very good last season. He created a lot of chances, yeah.
Did
cool. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I'd imagine so. No, he did very well. I don't have the numbers off the top of my head. I'm not actually Opta.
Sherry just calling out Archie. Did he?
Did he, Archie? I have no idea.
Sorry about that, Archie.
Yeah, God, we'll be having words afterwards, Sherry.
But Jamie Vardy, one of the best strikers in the Premier League.
Yeah.
I think he can be dangerous against Man City, but I'm going for a 2-1 victory to Man City.
So am I, actually. I'm going for a 2-1 City win away. I think they'll carry over their form that they had against West Ham. Leicester have just lost just 5 of their last 6 Premier League matches against Man City, winning just 1. So I don't give them massive hope. But yeah, no, City looked like vintage Man City against West Ham, and I think they'll carry that over away at the King Power. Samuel Jackson, what you got?
I think this is going to be a tight game, of course. Leicester having a good, overall had a good season, but recently haven't been great. Have been struggling, not picking up points, places where they should have done, and it's been a similar season. And Man City, it's been a poor one for their standards. They should really be battling for the league, and they're really They're struggling. They really are. I could see. I think that this is going to be a bit of a surprise. I think that Leicester are going to win this game. I don't think Man City look great at the moment, and with the financial fair play things that are coming in, I think it might have rocked the club a little bit, even through to the team and the manager. So I think that Leicester are going to win this 2-1.
Yeah, no, that's a different to what we've put, so that's always good, I guess. The last game that we're going to go with is Arsenal versus Everton.
In the Premier League.
Yeah, in the Premier League, sorry, yeah, apologies. The last Premier League game we're going to go to is that is the late game on Sunday. And so they played each other early in the season. Bizarrely, I watched this out in Philadelphia, little flex. And Sherry, who are you going with? We'll kick it off with you again.
I am going for an Arsenal win.
Hey. That's nice.
They've played very well against Newcastle last week, 4-0 for them. Everton, they have picked up the pace, I'd say, with obviously Carlo Ancelotti making changes to them. Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin playing very well for them, but Arsenal are playing well as well again under Mikel Arteta.
Yeah, no, we are indeed. What's the score prediction then? You going?
I'm going to say 2-0 to Arsenal.
2-0. We're keeping a clean
2-0.
sheet. Let's go. Brilliant.
How many clean sheets have you kept this season?
Oh, can you not? I just don't know. It's not very many. It's probably like 1.
Sherry's calling out Archie all over the shop.
I'm not up to stats, Sherry. Chill out, blimey. Yeah, I'm going to go with a 2-1 Arsenal win. As I say, I watched this game in Philadelphia on TV. I didn't mention. Yeah, it was after both managers had just lost. After both clubs had just lost their manager, so it was Big Dunk still in charge of Everton, and we had Lundberg, I believe, in his first game in charge for Arsenal. So it's both temporary managers. Both managers, Arteta hadn't yet been in charge, but Ancelotti was in the stands for this game. And yeah, no, I see a 2-1 Arsenal win.
Was that the game where it was 0-0? Probably like the most boring.
It
game
was
in
possibly
Premier
the
League
most dull game I've ever seen. Yeah, there was literally 0 chances of any note. It was shocking.
Well, I think that Everton are going to win this. I think that
I respected
Arsenal
you earlier.
against I think Arsenal against Newcastle. Yeah, it was a great result, and don't get me wrong, Arsenal played very well, but Newcastle were very poor. Ancelotti, the Scottish side, playing good football. They know what they're doing. Great manager, and I think that Ancelotti will possibly outthink Arteta and get a positive result, 2-1 Everton.
Okay, well, we shall see how that plays out. Let's drop down to a championship, shall we, where Bristol City hosts West Brom. We'll start with Sherry again. I mean, if you want to, you're more than welcome to. We can start with Sam if you like. It's up to you. You're the guest. You decide.
We can start with Sam.
Because that was Sam, brilliant. Our championship correspondent over here, so he can tell us what to do. Basically.
So basically, I'll say something and they'll just try and copy it.
And reword it a little bit, yeah.
Bristol City are a playoff team. They are one of the main teams vying for playoffs anyway. They've had an all right season. They could be doing a lot better. They've dropped points where they shouldn't have done, and they should be further up the league. Meanwhile, West Brom have only lost 3 games this season. Top of the league, cruising. Had a bit of a blip, but looks like they're through that now. And if that's a blip, that is the best. That is the best poor patch of form I've seen. And yeah, they're looking to under Slaven Bilic. They're looking to get a important result, which could see them extend their lead at the top by even more. I could see West Brom winning this quite convincingly. I think 3-0 West Brom.
Brilliant, yeah. I'll go with this one then. Do you want to go, Sherry, or would you like me to go? Oh, you just hit him in the face. Concuss our guest. Why don't you?
We'll let the co-host.
Brilliant. Okay, sound nice one, mate. Yeah, no, West Brom sit top of the tree, and obviously, Bristol City also they sit just outside the playoffs. I see it being a high-scoring affair. I see it being 3-4. I see a tasty affair. Bristol City score a lot of goals, but they also ship them as well. So I see it being a fairly end-to-end game, really. Sherry. Now, you've been putting it off for a while, but what's your prediction? Tactical insight, let's go.
I have minimal knowledge.
I'm starting the podcast with that, I'm sorry. I just, out of context, Sherry, I have minimal knowledge.
For these 2 specific teams, but I'll go for a West Brom win.
Good man. What's going? We need numbers.
3-2.
3-2. Nice and high scoring.
And
like
who's
mine.
going to score the goals?
Their striker.
Heard it here first, folks. Charlie Austin is going to score their goals.
Does Romelu Lukaku still play there? Oh well. Let's go down to the equally knowledgeable League One. Sam, do you want to start us off as we started with you last time? So let's kick things off with you on the League One front. We've got Fleetwood. They host the high-flying Portsmouth. It's going to be a tasty affair, but who you got winning?
It's a big match in League One. Both sides going for playoffs. Portsmouth just inside in 6th, while Fleetwood are just outside on 8th. It's going to be a tight game with both teams. Fleetwood, I'd say they've been overachieving this season, while Portsmouth have been underachieving. Of course, have won the top scorer. Fleetwood are the 3rd top scorer in the league with Patrick Madden.
Obviously. And
I can see, I think it's a cagey affair. I'm going 2-2.
Sounds good. As you said, there's just 2 points to separate the 2 teams. They're both on decent run of form. Portsmouth winning their last 3. Fleetwood being unbeaten in 4. I see Portsmouth taking this one away at Fleetwood 1-0. So, Sherry, Sam's nicked your phone. Why has he nicked your phone? Sam, give him his phone back. He's our guest. You can't just rob from him. You hit him in the head, and now you've basically assaulted him and now robbed him. Disappointed. Anyway, Sherry, what's your insight into Fleetwood Portsmouth? Come on. Well, just give us the scoreline. No description needed. Just random scoreline.
Fleetwood 1. Portsmouth 1. going for a draw, boys.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Oh, don't get splintered by sitting on the fence, Sherry. Right, let's go. Our League 2 game. We've naturally picked the team where we are. We got the Cobblers. They host Exeter City. How do you see this one going?
Oh, I've picked this game because
You have.
it's quite a big game in League 2. It's one of the biggest of the weekend. So Exeter, who are currently occupying second place, playing Northampton, who are just outside the playoffs, who are terrible. And
No,
I'm joking. Who have an
Ruined it.
interesting way of playing football, and Exeter are pushing for first. They need to keep that momentum going as they push up the league. I could see Exeter winning this 2-1.
That's fair enough, mate. Yeah. Well, I'm backing on mighty Cobblers, to be honest with you. They're not on a brilliant run of form as it goes. They've lost the last 3. They've not been great. They looked pretty terrible. We went to the Swindon game, didn't we?
But they're
were
not
amazing.
awful.
No, they're not awful. No, they're decent. And I reckon this will be their bounce back week. You know what? They're coming to visit the PTS Academy Stadium, and it's a bleeding fortress, all right? So I'm going with a 5-0 Northampton win.
You've heard it here.
Sam Hoskins is going to score a hat-trick. All right? I am going no less. Andy Williams is going to get 2. Someone recently changed his Wikipedia to saying he finishes like Pele. But I'm going with a 5-0 Northampton win. You heard it here first. Sherry, what are you going with?
Not quite as hopeful. 8th place Northampton. I don't think we'll be scoring 5 goals against Exeter.
Or anyone.
Or 2nd place.
I've never scored 5 goals. Oh.
Northampton obviously lacking
Anything.
anything.
Yeah.
No, a high-scoring goal scorer.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, as James Wiles said. Yeah.
I'm not going for a Northampton win, surprisingly.
Yeah.
I'm going for 0-0.
Brilliant. Oh, I love the variation you get on
Opposite
this.
end of the spectrum there.
This podcast has been a shambles, and it's been even more shambolic because we've forgotten something. We got to 30 subscribers, Sam, and you know what that means. You know what that means. I had to sing the Danny Ceballos song.
Archie,
Take
hit
away.
it.
It's gonna take a few takes. Daddy Ceballos, Daddy Ceballos, he
Yeah.
drinks Australia,
What?
he eats paella, the
Yeah.
boys magic. 1, 2, 3, 4, Dad. Yeah, we'll stop there. There you go. That is the little snippet you're gonna get. So you're welcome, everyone. You didn't get it at the start of the podcast, you got it at the end, but to be honest, we don't live by the rules. This podcast has descended into a bit of a mess.
We are very sorry. We've been messed around with room changes
Yeah.
and having to share mics. But we got a podcast out which has some quality in it, definitely some memorable moments.
Yeah.
But yeah, the final question we have to ask our guest is, Sherry, what is your favourite part of an English breakfast?
Egg.
No description.
Expand.
What type of egg for starters? Scrambled, fried, poached, raw. Just
No, I quite like a scrambled egg.
scrambled egg.
I don't like sausages. Don't
Yeah.
like bacon.
Naturally, yeah.
So what else can
Well,
I do?
hash browns. See,
Hash browns
toast.
are quite nice.
See, you're in now, Sherry. You're in with the hash
Toast,
brown gang.
I am a fan of toast.
Yeah, that's
but
good.
I
How do you
think-
like your toast? Warm bread or properly cremated?
Not cremated. No. Slightly warm. Warm. I'd say.
Warm bread.
Yeah.
Good man.
But I'd say scrambled egg just edges it.
Scrambled egg. Well, there you heard it here. You heard it here, people. Northampton going to win 5-0. Sherry likes scrambled eggs. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your week.
Yeah, mate. Remember to check us out on social media at I'm on Twitter at SamCole2468. Archie.
I am at Arch Corbett.
And
Sherry.
our guest, what is your Twitter name?
I am Sherry, like the drink. Sherry3199.
Sherry, I've got a confession to make.
Yes.
I've got you muted on Twitter.
What?
And thank you for listening, guys. Make sure you check us out on Spotify and YouTube. have a great week. We'll see you tomorrow with our special Champions League and Europa League edition. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Good night.